episode 42. Let's go, but first, okay, so I guess not let's go. Yeah, episode 42, sorry, about last episode having annoying crackling noises while I was fixing my cord here. I really thought there was feedback, but I guess there wasn't. So I will probably not care if it looks like there's feedback. Yeah, I probably won't care if it looks like there's feedback. I'll just go check it when the video is done recording. Okay, and another thing is I looked at this post, or I found this post on the Godot subreddit. I mean, I was just browsing Reddit and I came across this post, and someone suggests to set untyped declaration and inferred declaration to error. So I guess I will do both of those here. There they are. I will trust them. I will trust them on that. Okay, and that's everything I wanted to do at the start of this episode, and let's just get into trying to learn. Let's just get into learning by this point. By this point. I didn't need to say by this point. Let's just get into learning. What? Oh, okay. Well, changing those settings has already resulted in some errors here. We got UI up, UI down. Okay, so I can just, sure, I can just do this. Amazing. And I can just, what? I'm so confused. Okay, I am gonna reread that comment that I just took advice from. Infer declaration to error. Why? Why infer declaration to error? Let me look up what is bad about inferred declaration. Makes code less readable. What? Okay, let me do in Godot. No, hold up, hold up. Here's maybe a valid point here. Type inference. Okay, wait. Type inference always has a cost. In little terminal scripts written with Python, usually you don't care about it, but in games and other massive programs, typing is always better. Oh, okay. You're confusing it with dynamic typing, which is what happens when you don't specify a type hint. I've been using static typing. I'm not sure I could go back to dynamic typing. Wait a second. Unity already has this. Like, if you could just do string, like string or stir, that would be a lot better, right? Than having to do boom, fling blong, ding bong, and then like do this. Like, that just, that just seems dumb, though. Okay, except why is it not, what? Oh, it's capital S. Okay, sure. Hmm. Okay. Interesting. Huh. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna ask what's bad about this. What's bad about infer typing? And also, I'm gonna change my whatchamacallit. Change my user flare. Poggers. Okay, we got what's bad about inferred typing? sorry, inferred declaration. Yep, bam, nice. Should be getting a response back in 2 to 3 business days. Okay, another thing I found is this here. Huh. Okay, so I'm not doxing myself here, am I? No. Okay, we got this one where the guy is basically just saying, okay, can I stop pressing buttons? So, yeah, this guy who is basically just saying there are a bunch of plugins that you can use that are optimized, that are written with optimized code, and it's basically the best way to write it. I have this also in this video. I have this video saved just because it also says that same thing. So I will go scour the internet for open source or free code when I cross or when I come to the bridge. I will cross it and actually look up free or open source or free and open source code. That will save me a lot of time on my actual serious projects. Okay, we got pre-made plugins for saving systems. Nice. Godot asset library. Yep, yep. Pretty good. I will look that up at some point, not now. Okay, I'm just burping and I don't want you guys to hear. Okay, yep, that is pretty much it before I go into experimenting with things. Experimenting with things in the in-engine and actually continuing work on my Pong game, my mini Pong game here. So, as of now, I'm just going to I'm just going to change inferred declaration to ignore. What the fudge? Do I have to restart my project here? What? What? Ah. Okay. What in the world? Okay, I guess I am not doing what this guy suggests. Okay, and I guess I'm restarting the program because it is not it is not updating. Okay, and I'm also going to reply to this guy and say changing untyped declaration to error. Okay. Has makes it changing untyped declaration to error makes it so that all my functions are now giving me errors. How do I fix that? Actually, you know what? Maybe I can fix it on my own. Here. How to type functions in Godot? Static typing in Godot. Let's check it, baby. Um, oh, there it is. Never mind. I don't like that. I'm not gonna lie, I don't like that. If you prefer static typing, we recommend enabling the text editor completion add type hints editor setting. Wait, we recommend enabling the text editor completion add type hints editor setting. Okay, okay. Now let me go back here. Forcing yourself to use static types will make you a better programmer and build a better understanding of the Godot engine. Okay, okay. Um, yeah, okay. So we got. Wow, this is pretty far down actually. You know, I am planning to go through the whole Godot documentation at some point. Soon, some point soon actually, like when I'm done with this Pong game, when I'm done adding enough features, like when I'm done adding the amount of features that I think is satisfactory for my first game, like my first mini game here. Obviously, it's not a full game and I'm not going to publish it, but when I think I've added enough features for me to have learned something, then I will move on to going through the whole documentation, which is probably going to take a while, actually. And also, this is a 4.3. The documentation is now updated to 4.3 because 4.3 just came out. And yeah, which means it's going to have some things that my version doesn't have. It's going to refer to some features that the version I am currently using does not have. There you go. Okay, let's do text editor. What? Oh, editor setting. Editor setting. Okay, editor setting. Text editor completion and add type hints. Nice. And now I can go back to go back to here and make make function use as property. Okay. Untype declaration to error. And honestly, what is a warning? What does warning mean? Unassigned variable. Unassigned variable. So if I do var test, I make this a string, sure. When I save this. Nothing will happen. Very cool. And then I save, or if I go to, why is that there? If I go to what? Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna remove that. There you go. And then how do you do it? I mean, do you even need a space here? How to use static typing? Wait, a colon. There's no difference between equal and colon equal for constants. You don't need to write type hints for constants as Godot sets it automatically from the assigned value. But you can still do so to make the intent of your code clearer. Also, this is useful for typed arrays like const a array, an integer array, since untyped arrays are used by default. Okay. Okay, fair enough. Here's a complete list of what can be used as a type hint. Variant, any type. Okay. In most cases, this is not much different from an untyped declaration, but increases readability. Okay, fair. And I just did that. Nice. Okay. Sure. I'll just do, whoa. That's not what I meant to do. All right, bam. Hello? What? The fu- Do I actually have to do that? Okay, looks like I... Yep, nice. Okay, looks like I will actually... I will actually reply to this guy. Changing untyped declaration to error is giving me errors for every single function and parameter. Even built-in ones. Should I really go and type every single parameter and function? Yeah. Hmm. No, I will not do this for now. I will just not do this for now. Because it's annoying. And I will just, yeah, I'll just leave it as is. Obviously, if the guy, replies back to me and is like, yes, change everything. Just change it all. Just like do it all. Then sure, I'll do it. Why not? But as of now, it kind of just seems like a Redditor kind of just seems like a Redditor moment. But yeah, I will 100% type the, yeah, I will 100% type the variables from now on. Okay? So, first thing I wanted to do was create a script called weapon. Okay? And that, hmm. Yeah, I'm probably just gonna make this a the object. Default cycle methods. No, object. Great, thank you. And why did I make this a node? That's my real question. If I just do, what is it? If I just do class name global, what happens? Okay, got it. Okay, so turns out you can't do that. What? Wait, if I do, whatever, test, I make this empty. What? Do they all have to extend node? Really? I guess so. Well, there you go. Okay, let's just, like, even the object, even if I just want to make an object here, it still extends node. If I do, what is this new script? Ah, I see. I see, I see. Okay, great. So weapon. So this is what I've been thinking about with regards to classes and how I can actually use them in a practical way. So, here's the thing. Do I even need to write class name? Do I even need to do that? Uh, hmm. So if I want to set a node, let me actually,
has the ability to create.
let me actually rename this. Or let me actually rewatch this video that I saw last time.
Did you know that Godot has the ability to create custom classes? These are useful scripts that can. Did you know that Godot has the ability to create custom classes? These are useful scripts that can hold variables and even functions, and can make your code more readable and extensible, leading to less bugs and more productivity. In this video, I'll be adding a feature to a small project and show how classes can make this process easier, more streamlined, and less error prone. As always, use the timestamps in the description or chapters in the video to skip the parts that you care about. I'll be using the Sproutlands asset pack by Cup Nooble
To skip the parts that you care about, guys. Skip the parts that you care about, okay? Skip the part. Okay, I'm trolling, obviously, but yes, he misspoke. But it's just funny. It's a funny thing. It was just funny. It was funny to me. Okay, you get it.
link is in the description. So here's how the game stands so far. We have a character that can walk around, and when we click, she attacks in front of her. We also have this cow that can take damage and eventually die. The damage is handled like so. The weapon checks the body it hits has a damage function, and if it does, it calls it passing in its attack damage value. And inside of the enemy, we have the damage function. We subtract the damage from the health, and if it hits 0, it deletes itself. Now, function, passing in its attack damage value. And inside of the enemy, we have the damage function. We subtract the damage from the health, and if it hits 0, it deletes itself. Now, I want the ability to knock the cow back whenever we hit it, which we can go about in a few different ways. We'll start with a straightforward approach, and then go over some problems that may cause and a better way to do it later. First off, inside of the weapon, I'll add a new variable called knockback force, and we'll pass that into the damage function. Well, there's something I didn't mention. The act and the crate. Unfortunately, even though we have to add these with the damage function, this can lead to a lot of complexity and issues down the line, and it can just be annoying to change these functions. So what can we do better? Let's start by adding a new script. I'll just call mine attack.gd, and I'll start with class name attack. What this class name does is it allows, I'll just call mine attack.gd, and I'll start with class name attack. What this class name does is it allows any script in the project to reference this attack class. We'll get into that more later, but for now I'll just add 3 variables.
Okay. But what? I'm so confused. Hold up. On auto load and difference between. Oh sheesh, bro! I've been almost recording for 40 minutes. Difference between an auto load and a class in Godot. Main difference between static and auto load is where it's located. Static located in the class itself, auto load is located in the scene tree, giving you access to all the nodes in your scene. When to use static versus auto load. An auto load is an instance of a node that is added to your scene tree automatically and can be accessed globally. As such, it has access to node features such as signals. Many people also use it as a way to persist data across scene changes. It's often mistaken with the singleton pattern, though it's not exactly the same. What is a singleton again? The singleton pattern is a software design pattern that restricts the instantiation of a class to a singular instance. As to when to use it, there's no right answer. It comes down to preference, but an obvious use case would be for when you want a node that can be accessed literally everywhere. Some people use autoloads for a lot of things. Some people prefer to avoid them. Static functions and variables are also globally accessible, but instead of being an instance of a class, are tied directly to that class. I personally only use static for helper functions and constant values. I personally only use static for helper functions and constant values. Interesting. So if I create a class for like an RPG that just stored a bunch of formulas, or have a class that just has lots of reuse functions, Like seeing if a value is out of range in a grid-based game, then a static class would probably be better, since there's no reason to need to create a node for it. That's what I do, yeah. Okay. What are the upsides slash downsides to using auto loads versus class name? I'm following GD Quest's tutorial on steering behaviors right now, and they create a steering auto load with static functions that any object can call. I was just wondering if there was any benefit to instead creating a steering class than calling steering.new in any object that needs it. I guess the argument against it, there are only 3 comments on this post. I guess the argument against it is that you don't really need multiple steering objects for each object if you're just using static functions, right? Auto loads have access to the scene tree. They're added as a node on runtime, which is handy for some uses. If you need to access other nodes or use ready and process calls. What? But I often stick to static functions inside classes when I don't need any of that. Handy for some uses if you need to access other nodes or use ready and process calls. If you only have static functions, then you wouldn't need to use new. Otherwise, something to be aware of is that having many of either class names or singletons may slow down the game. Singletons because you're adding nodes to the scene tree, and I think class names might slow down the editor but not the exported game. If you only have static functions, then you wouldn't need to use new. True, if it's just static functions, I don't see why you'd use autoload over class name then. You don't actually need a node in the scene tree to execute static functions. Okay, so my real question is this necessary? Is this even necessary? Hmm. Hold up. Should I use autoload or static classes with C sharp? Oh, we got it in documentation here. Okay. Autoloads versus regular nodes. Godot offers a feature to automatically load nodes as at the root of your project, allowing you to access them globally. That can fulfill the role of a singleton. Okay. Let's check what that is Singleton's autoload. Godot's scene system, while powerful and flexible, has a drawback. There's no method for storing information that is needed by more than one scene. What? Godot's scene system, while powerful, has a drawback. There's no method for storing information that is needed by more than one scene. Oh. A player's score or inventory. That is needed by more than one scene. Okay, except if you use an autoload, I guess. What? Okay, we got. It's possible to address this with some workarounds. Well, but they come with their own limitations. You can use a master scene that loads and unloads other scenes as its children. However, this means you can no longer run those scenes individually and expect them to work correctly. Information can be stored to disk and use. You can use a master scene that loads and unloads other scenes as its children. However, this means you can no longer run those scenes individually and expect them to work correctly. I don't get that. I'm not understanding these two sentences here. Information can be stored to disk in user and then loaded by scenes that required, but frequently saving and loading data is cumbersome and may be slow. The singleton pattern is a useful tool. Thank you. The singleton pattern is a useful tool for solving the common use case where you need to store persistent information between scenes. In our case, it's possible to reuse the same scene or class for multiple singletons as long as they have different names. Using this concept, you can create objects that are always loaded no matter which scene is currently running, can store global variables such as player information, can handle switching scenes and between scene transitions, act like a singleton since GDScript does not support global variables by design. Auto-loading nodes and scripts can give us these characteristics. In our case, it's possible to reuse the same scene or class for multiple singletons as long as they have different names. Okay. Software design pattern that restricts the instantiation of a class to a singular instance. They permit lazy? Oh. Allocation and initialization, whereas global variables in many languages will always consume resources. Okay. I don't understand this picture though. Trash toy. Okay. Sure. So a singleton is just an object, a single object that you don't make more than one of, and it holds variables. Is that that's is that actually right? I guess so. Yeah. Godot won't make a Go won't make an auto load a true singleton as per the singleton design pattern. It may still be instanced more than once by the user if desired. Okay. If you're creating an auto load as part of an editor plugin, consider registering it automatically in the project settings when the plugin is enabled. Okay, that seems pretty useful actually. You can create an auto load to load a scene or script that inherits from node. When auto-loading a script, a node will be created and the script will be attached to it. This node will be added to the root viewport before any other scenes are loaded. I don't get this picture. I don't understand this picture. Oh, okay. Got it. These are attached to the root and the root runs the scene main loop? I don't know. To auto-load a scene or script, start from the menu and navigate to project settings, globals, auto-load. Globals? What are globals? What? Here you can add any number of scenes or scripts. Each entry in the list requires a name, which is assigned as the node's name property. The order of the entries as they are added to the global scene tree can be manipulated using the up/down arrow keys. Like regular scenes, the order, wait. The order of the entries as they are added to the global scene tree can be manipulated using the up/down arrow keys. The order of the entries can be manipulated using the up/down arrow keys. Okay. I thought they meant arrow keys like on the keyboard here, not these arrow keys. Wait, these aren't keys though. Whatever. Like regular scenes, the engine will read these nodes in top to bottom order. If the enable column is checked, which is the default, then the singleton can be accessed directly in GD script. The enable column has no effect in C# code. However, if the singleton is a C# script, a similar that can be achieved by using a static property called instance and assigning it in ready. I'm not glad that looks horrible, let's just say. Yeah, that, let's just say, why am I saying let's just say? Uh, yeah, that looks horrible. I am so glad I am using GD script instead of C#. This allows the singleton, I don't care. Now note that auto load objects are accessed just like any other node in the scene tree. In fact, if you look at the running scene tree, you'll see the auto-loaded nodes appear. Really? Ah. Oh. Oh. I see. To the root viewport. Okay, I get it. I get it. Okay, so this isn't actually a root node. Or it is, but there's a root viewport. There's like a root object above it. Okay. Okay, okay. I get it. I get it. Okay. Autoloads must not be removed using free or queue free at runtime or the engine will crash. The engine will crash. Okay, sure. Custom scene switcher. This tutorial will demonstrate building a scene switcher using auto loads. For basic scene switching, you can use the scene tree.changeScene to file method. However, if you need more complex behavior when changing scenes, this method provides more functionality. Okay, I don't need that. Yeah, I don't need that. I don't need to learn this. Custom scene switcher. Okay. Okay. What the fu- Okay. Why is it lowercase global? I mean that doesn't look too bad, I guess. You know? Yeah, it's like about the same uh code, the same amount of code, I guess. Yeah, that doesn't look too bad. Okay. Sure. These auto-loaded nodes are not freed when you change the scene from code with scene change. In this guide, okay. In this guide, you will learn when to use the autoload feature and techniques you can use to avoid it. What? Okay. Why would you need to avoid it though? Other engines can encourage the use of creating manager classes singletons that organize a lot of functionality to a globally accessible object. Godot offers many ways to avoid a global state thanks to the node tree and signals. For example, let's say Godot offers many ways to avoid global state. Okay, I'm just confused about the language a little bit. Okay, for example, let's say we are building a platform we want to collect coins that play a sound effect. There's a node for that, the audio stream player, but if we call the audio stream player while it is already playing a sound, the new sound interrupts the first. A solution is to code a global auto-loaded sound manager class. It generates a pool of audio stream player nodes that cycle through as each new request for sound effects comes in. Say we call that class sound. You can use it from anywhere in your project by calling sound.play coinpickup.og. This solves the problem in the short term but causes more problems. Global state. One object is now responsible for all objects' data. If the sound class has errors or doesn't have an audio stream player available, all the nodes calling it can break. Global access. Now that any object can call sound.play sound path from anywhere, there's no longer an easy way to find the source of a bug. The global resource allocation. With a pool of audio stream player nodes stored from the start, you can either have too few and face bugs or too many and use more memory than you need. Okay. About global access, the problem is that any code anywhere could pass wrong data to the sound auto load. In our example, as a result, the domain to explore to fix the bug spans the entire project. Huh. Interesting. Interesting. Hold up. Okay, I'm trying to not put my legs up as much recently. Contrast this with each scene keeping as many audio stream player nodes as it needs within itself, and all these problems go away. Each scene manages its own state information. If there is a problem with the data, it will only cause issues in that one scene. Each scene accesses only its own nodes. Now, if there's a bug, it's easy to find which node is at fault. Each scene allocates exactly the amount of resources it needs. Okay, so what? I'm so confused. This is basically saying don't use this feature. It's like, what the fudge? Managing shared functionality or data. Another reason to use an auto load can I'm just a little confused. I guess that's fine. Managing, oh, got it. This is saying you do like, you can fix the audio cutting if you have a global, or, if you have an auto load sound node, but you can also, yeah, okay. So the audio cutting issue works if you use an auto load. The the bug finding problem, or it, and okay, it's easier to find bugs. The resources are, what is the word for it? Are used more efficiently. The resources are used more efficiently, and problems are restricted per scene if you use audio stream players in the scene instead of doing an auto load. But the audio cutting issue is not fixed. I think that's what it's saying. Okay, we got another reason to use an auto load can be that you want to reuse the same method or data across many scenes. In the case of functions, you can create a new type of node that provides that feature for an individual scene using the class name keyword. What? You can create a new type of node that provides that feature for an individual scene using the class name keyword. Okay, so this isn't even using auto loads. Oh, wait, this is saying don't use auto load. This is saying don't use auto load as well. When it comes to data, you can either create a new type of resource to share the data. Okay. Store it or store the data in an object to which each node has access, for example, using the owner property to access the scene's root node. Interesting. When you should use auto load. GDScript supports the creation of static functions using static func. When combined with class name, this makes it possible to create libraries of helper functions without having to create an instance to call them. The limitations of static functions is that they can't reference member variables, non-static functions, or self. Okay. Since Godot 4.1, GDScript also supports static variables using static var. This means you can now share a variable across instances of a class. Wait. This means you can now share a variable across instances of a class without having to create a separate auto load. Across instances of a class. Okay. So I don't even need this? Do I not even need this? Like, do I not even need this global variable here? Still, auto-loaded nodes can simplify your code for systems with a wide scope. If the auto-load is managing its own information and not invading the data of other objects, then it's a great way to create systems that handle broad scope tasks. For example, a quest or dialogue system. An autoload is not necessarily a singleton. Nothing prevents you from instantiating copies of an autoloaded node. An autoload is only a tool that makes a node load automatically as a child of the root of your scene tree, regardless of your game's node structure or which scene you run. For example, by pressing the F6 key. What does the F6 key do? What? Okay. Application. Input map. No. Plugins. F6. What does F6 do? How do I look at inputs or keybinds? How do I look at that? Where are those? Editor. Inspector, theme, touchscreen, multi-window, tools, editors, text editor, shortcuts. There you go. F6? What is it? F6? Or is this just another... What? Oh. Oh, I see. Oh, nice. Okay, sure. Let's just run current scene. Nice. As a result, you can get the auto-loaded node, for example, on an auto-load called sound by calling get node root sound. Static functions. When combined with class name, this makes it possible to create libraries of helper functions without having to create an instance to call them. Okay, so why would you use autoloads? Why would you ever use autoloads then? There is a slight difference between Godot autoloads and C# static variables. Autoloads are just nodes in the scene tree like every other node. What makes them autoload is that they are created when the game starts and are not wiped out when used change scene because they live under the scene tree root. Now, which one should you use? Personally, I avoid static as much as I can to keep code self-contained and not have states hanging around having to manage everywhere. But they have their use cases. If you use them to hold Godot objects, make sure you properly manage their lifetime. I'm so confused. Why should I bother? Okay, dumb question. Why should I bother making a class when I can just call everything from an autoload? I have never had to make a class so far, and it seems pretty daunting. If I can use autoloads for the same thing, then why would I make a class? One of those things you'll learn by trying it. You make classes all the time anyways. Literally every single script file you make is a class. Your autoload is an instance of a class. Interesting. All right. You make classes all the time anyway. Literally every single script file you make is a class. Also, sorry about that. I was talking to my dad. Your autoload is an instance of a class. Do you need more than one instance of it? If so, that rules out an autoload. So every time you add a script to a node, you're writing a class. I would recommend reading a bit more about object-oriented programming. Mostly it is because you want to separate responsibilities to the object that have the responsibility. Having all in autoload will soon become a mess, and the more you add logic. Might work just fine for a Pong game. Oh, but have more levels and soon it will be daunting. Harder to debug from an autoload as it leads to a lot of class coupling slash dependencies. You really want to avoid globals at all if possible. As your game expands, you will see this. I try to only use them for utility functions or storing things like game dimensions and collision layers. Don't understand what you mean. An autoload has a class already. All scripts are classes no matter what you use. No matter for what you use them. As for only using autoloads, you certainly can, but there's some issues. Always loaded. There's no way to unload an autoload, so it will always be running and taking up memory. Pushes you into a structured programming type of coding, which is not what Godot was built for. Forces you to cram a lot of code into few scripts, which slows you down a lot. If you're designing a word game, for example, and each word tile needs to be generated randomly with different letters with the ability to click on them, autoload will not work in this case since you need instances for each generated tile that holds the information of that tile. I'm not gonna lie, it I'm sure it'd make my life easier, but I have no idea how to use or what a class is. Just type class name on a node you use a lot and start reaping the benefits. Let's say class name turtle, being able to do if node is turtle, enjoying autocomplete and error messages for typos when using static typing like var Raphael is turtle, Raphael get rat master, error it was master. Doing turtle.new instead of preload and then instantiate. And if you worry about scary things like inheritance from overriding functions, you do it every single time you use ready or position, etc. Okay. Class is a collection of data and functions. For example, NodeTD is a class. Classes can have more specific versions called subclasses, i.e. kinematic body 2D is a class and a subclass of Node2D. Okay, I need to stop picking at my nails, bro. I'm like digging my fingernails into like under my other fingernails, really just my thumbnail. And I need to stop doing that because it's removing the skin from my nail underneath. Removing the skin from underneath my nail. Okay. So, singleton pattern equals bad has been a favorite low-hanging fruit topic of many YouTube channels and blogs. There's plenty of info. Instancing is easier for me with classes, plus I use a bunch of classes. Not nodes, no visuals to manipulate data structures because there's no structures in Godot. Plus using classes as typings helps with IntelliSense and autocomplete. I only use autoload if I need things to be globally available / shared. Otherwise, there's a chance for introducing unwanted side effects and also using more memory than I need to. Classes are great for grouping together related logic and allow your logic to be reused in other places. What's your general experience with programming? Okay, I'm gonna try something. Enough reading. Time for trying something. Okay. I'm gonna... How do I do this? If I do static var screen size, and I make this a vector 2, then then I do this. Do things mess up? Okay, I want to remove this actually. So now that's gonna mess things up. Hello? Why is nothing messing up? What? What? Can I, what? Why am I not getting any errors here? Is that it? Really? You lied to me. What? You lied to me. Good, you lied to me. You lied to me. Static? Okay. Since Godot 4.1, GD scripts also support static. GD script also supports static variables using static var. This means you can now share a variable across instances of a class without having to create a separate autoload. Without having to create a separate autoload. What does that mean? What does that mean? It was working before. Did I mess anything up? No. Okay. Wait. Node. Why would I make this a node? Why would I make this a node? Why would I make this a node? Okay, let me just try something. If I do class... Okay, what? If I do class name... You know what? You know what? No. Sure, you know what? I'll do this. Fine. Class name weapon. Okay. Then I'm thinking if I do an enum, then I may as well just make this an auto load, right? I guess I could just do this. Is this right? Let's do bow, uh, longsword, longsword, spear, what is it? Sure, bow, longsword, spear. I don't care. I don't care. Oh, and these are not, this is not a string. This is not a string. I'm actually trolling myself here. So I do bow. long sword, spear. Okay, what? Is this actually, am I doing this correctly? Is there any reason to use autoloads now that we have static classes and members? Autoloads do not have to be scripts, they can also be scenes. Which is useful for things like an in-game console, a debug menu, etc. Ah! Ah! Okay, yeah, let me just watch this video again.
These are attack damage, knockback force, and attack position. We can also assign these a default value if we want, but I'll just keep mine blank. That's actually all we need for this file, so I'll go back to the enemy script, and instead of passing in these 3 parameters, I'll instead pass in one attack object, which I will annotate with type attack. Annotating it as attack gives us 2 benefits. This allows us to use autocomplete, and if we try to pass anything that isn't an attack into this function, the game will throw an error, and so we're guaranteed that the only thing passed into this function will be an attack. Of course, right now the function has errors, so instead of referencing the old variable names, I'll instead call attack.attack damage, attack.attack position, and attack.knockback force. Going back to our weapon class, we have to change how we call the damage function. Rather than passing in the 3 parameters, we'll first start by making a new attack object and assign the attack damage, knockback force, and position like so, and then instead of passing in the 3 variables, we'll instead pass in just the attack object. I'll make a similar change to the tree and crate, and if we go into the game, we can see that everything is still working fine. There's the 3 variables assign damage, not everything, and if we pass this attack class.
So this is not, this is just, So this is just an object, this is not a node. Okay, I'm going to go back to this here.
Whenever we press the action we made earlier. So func_input event, and if our action was pressed, then we call our jump function by writing jump followed by open and close parentheses. And now when I press space, it displays jump, buffs, and so on. Enums. Enums are a convenient way to define tags or states in our game. Say we're making a game with a bunch of units and we want a way to mark each one as either hostile, neutral, or ally. In this case, we could create an enum that defines these tags. So at the top here, I'll write enum to create a new enum, and then in the curly brackets, I'll write ally, neutral, and enemy. And now we can use these states in our game. For example, we can create a variable called unit alignment and set it equal to any one of these states. I'll just set it to ally. And this makes it really quick and easy to then check in our code if our unit has a certain alignment.
Wait, what?
Also, let's just give our enum a name here to stay organized. So I'm going to call this alignment. And now whenever we are accessing a state, we have to go inside of alignment dot, and here you can see our state. So I'll go alignment dot ally by default. And then inside of ready, we can check if unit alignment is equal to alignment dot, let's check for enemy. And if it is, we will print you are not welcome here. And if it's not, so it's not an enemy, we'll just write welcome. And now if we run, we can see that our console displays for each state. Match. Match is the equal to our enemy constant. Now console equal to 0. We could set ally equal to 1, neutral equal to 0, and enemy equal to -1. And now our console you need to take into account, but it's nice to know what our code is actually doing. This is rarely something constant, which is 2, because it's the third state. This is rarely something you need to take into account, but it's nice to know what our code is actually doing. And we can even override the default value if we want. So we could set ally equal to 1, neutral equal to 0, and enemy equal to -1. And now our console displays -1 because that's now the value of our enemy constant. Now something that pairs really nicely with enums are match statements because they allow us to quickly add functionality for each state. Match. Match is the Godot equivalent of neutral equal to take
Wait a
this
second.
too. Enemy, the console simply shows the value of that constant, which is 2. Each enum is essentially just a bunch of constants with an increasing value, which makes you can see here is that Godot welcome here. Really cool. Now what is actually happening behind the scenes here is that Godot is creating a constant for each state in our enum. So this code here is actually completely identical to our first line. And as you can see, the value here increases from 0 to 1 to 2, kind of like an index. So an enum is essentially just a bunch of constants with an increasing value. Which means that if we try to print one of these states, say we print alignment.enemy, the console simply shows the value of that constant, which is 2, because it's the third state. This is rarely something you need to take into account, but it's nice to know what our code is actually doing. And we can even override the default value if we want. So we could set ally equal to 1, neutral equal to 0, and enemy equal to -1. And now our console displays -1 because that's now the value of our enemy constant.
Okay,
Now
so my real question is adding weapons as tags even a good thing? Like, is that even a thing that's like good to do?
Something that pairs really nicely with enums are match statements because they allow us to quickly add functionality for each state. Match. Match is the Godot equivalent of this switch statement from other languages and allows us to execute different code depending on the value of a variable. In this case here, we can use a match statement to add some code for the different values of our enum.
Depending on the value of a variable.
So I'll write match, then the variable we are matching based on, which is my alignment, colon, and now we add code for each value. So in case my alignment is alignment.ally, I'll print hello, friend, if it is neutral.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yep. So really I can just name this what is it? Sure, I'll just name this weapon. Sure. Then I can do, but here's the thing. If I don't need this to be repeated, then why wouldn't I just put this on a weapon object? You know, why wouldn't I just put this on a node? Like if all the weapon data is put in here, then why would I need to make a class? You know what I mean? I wouldn't. I wouldn't. I wouldn't. So, what this would work better for is yeah, I'm just gonna delete this. Yep. Delete that, delete this. I'm like trying to wrap my head around objects. I know I should probably just finish my little project that I have here. But I don't know. I don't know. I'm hyperactive. Okay, and also, hmm. Okay, let me think here. Okay. I need to finish something. I need to actually like finish something. So I'm gonna make a script called um hmm. Okay, this is actually more complex than I thought. Okay, if I make a script called um, equipment, okay, and I make this a class. Class name equipment. Okay. Then I have variables like sure. Uses. Okay. And yeah, I have variables like uses and um I don't know, should I make that durability? I'll just do sure, durability. And defense. And wait, what the fudge? Oh, I see. I don't need this anymore actually. Okay, and uh I don't know. Wait. Sure. Let's do like yeah, let's do wait. All right, let's also do uh what is it? Sure, let's just make this one physical defense and magical defense. Great. Then we have a function called roll, I guess. roll stats. So when, okay, how do I do this? What? Oh. Roll stats. And then we do one of these here. But here's the thing. Why would I ever use an equipment.new? Nah, I'll just do new. Is there, what is it? Hmm. Like, would I do this here? I'm so confused. Wait, if I do this, if I go to this and I just extend node 2D, what is this camera? 2D? Yeah, if I just do this and I extend node 2D, that means I don't even need to make this global, do I? Oh, I mean, I would probably need to make the camera an auto load, wouldn't I? Okay. Okay. Hmm. New. Uh, okay, whoops, just shook my camera. New.
I'll print a common piece. If it is enemy, taste my wrath.
Like, is this a good system to do for weapons? Or not? Like, here's the thing. If you collect a lot of weapons, like, if you have an inventory, like, full of weapons, then this would be fine, I think, right? Wait, if I do a set, if I do a setter here, okay, wow, really loud motorcycle by my house. If I do a setter, hold on.
And a cool thing here is that we can
Wow, I just built the most amazing workflow on Monday.com.
You build your own workflow? Why? There are a bunch of
is signals. Get, set, code for when we try to exceed 100 or go below 0. We could also
Hmm. Oh no, this is when it's changed. Okay, I see. I see. This is, wait. This is any time? This is literally any time it's, okay. This is literally any time it's called. Okay, so what I do want to do is do a ran. You know what? Sure. Then I can just do this for all of them. Then if I make a, okay. Nice. What does this actually return, actually? What does this actually return? Oh. Yeah, never mind. I will do range. From 0 to 100. Okay, and then, oh, whoops, nope. Okay, and now I can, okay, I really need to stop doing that, bro. Doing this, like digging under my fingernails, usually is a sign that I'm stressed, but I don't feel like I'm stressed. Okay. Let me do arrays. Where are arrays?
about later. Arrays. Sometimes here in the TD-script, I am a giant. Pretty well documented. Basketball, here I come. Documentation. TD-script is actually pretty well documented. And one about later. Arrays. Sometimes you want a variable that can hold more than one thing. In fact, sometimes you might want to store a whole list of elements.
What did I want? Classes? I wanted to go over
For this, we use
again.
arrays. Defining an array is very easy. Let's make one to hold items in an inventory. So we'll create a normal variable and set it equal to open and close square brackets. This creates an empty array. We can then add elements inside the square brackets. I'll add a potion string, the number 3, and the number 6. Notice how, unlike many other languages, GDScript has no problem mixing data types within an array. But if you want to constrain an array to a specific type, we can of course statically type it. So here we simply add the type. This is an array, and the elements inside it are going to be strings. So that's the syntax for that. And now we get an error because 3 is not a string, so we'll replace this with feather. And 6 is also not a string. We'll replace that with stolen heart. Now the way that we access elements in an array is by using an index. When you add an element to an array, it is automatically assigned a number based on its position in the array.
Okay, I'm going to, yeah, let me do. I guess I can just do it here. All right, I can do, sure, I'll just do equipment test. Then I can, what? Yeah, I can just make this an array with equipment in them. I don't know why I did that. Okay, then we can do equipment test dot, what is it, append? Yeah, append with equipment dot new. And you know what? I could just do for n in 10. Then let's print equipment test. Nice. That's not it. Yeah, I guess I can just do print equipment test with the index of n. Oh, I see. Yep, so I can do dot durability. Yep. I can do this. Then I can do what? Then I can do this. Then I can do this. Then I can do this. No, let's just do one for now. So that should give me 10 numbers between 0 and 100. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Nice, and those are indeed random. So 62, 74, 76, 37, 66. And they are random again. Nice. So this is probably how I would make classes. Obviously, I would, I would probably, yeah, obviously I would probably add an equip function, which takes the, item of the type equipment. Then I would, set whatever built-in function to yeah, huh. No, like whatever built-in variable I would maybe I wouldn't even need to do that here actually. Like if I had a thing called whatchamacallit, like if I had an exported variable called, I wouldn't even need to be an exported one. Current equipment. What? Oh, oops. All right, yep, so I can just set this equal to, sure. I can just set this equal to equipment. And this would have to be a node. Hmm.
In this case, the first 40. There we go. Ended object classes. This means that we generally try to structure our code inside of contained objects that interact with that have instance. Actually, already with a bunch with a class. This is here for code. Clear that so right at that defines a character, let's set the class name to character. So right at the top here, we'll go class name, character with a capital C. And we can now add some variables. We'll mark these with export so that we can set them in the inspector for each character instance. So export var. Let's add a profession of type string and give each character a health as well of type integer. And so now we can see that our character here has these two properties in the inspector, and we can go ahead and fill out the profession. This is going to be the potion seller, who is going to have a health of, let's say, 40. And now we can create more instances by duplicating this node. So let's duplicate it a few times. The second character here will name X Adventurer with a health of 30. And the last character will be our knight, and we'll give him a health of, say, 150. So now we have these three instances with different properties. And we can also give them a function. So let's add a die function. So I'll write func die. And this function is going to set our health to 0, as well as print our profession and the fact that we died. And that's it for our character class. But currently nothing is triggering this function. So let's go into our main script now. And here we can get a reference to one of our characters and call the die function. We could simply drag and drop one of these nodes to get a reference, but because we have named our class, we can actually use an export variable for this instead. This way we can set the connection in the editor and we don't have to worry about the path changing. So we'll write export var, and here we'll have a character to kill of type character. And now if we save that, we can see that our main node now has a slot here for the character to kill. And we can either drag in one of these characters or hit assign and select one. I'm going to choose character 3. And now in our ready method, we simply go to our character to kill and call the die function. And if we run this, indeed, the die function is called on our character 3, which is our knight. So it says knight died. And if we choose another character, say the first one, we are instead killing the potion seller. Really cool. Inner classes. These are classes that exist inside of another class. We mostly use these for bundling together variables and maybe add a function or two. They can be a good alternative to dictionaries because they are sometimes a bit more safe to use. Say we have this character class here and we would like to add some equipment. We could create an inner class called equipment. So I'll write class equipment, and then we can give it a couple of variables. I'll create an armor variable. Set
Whoa, 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 whoa.
equipment. Exists seller. Really cool. Inner classes. These are classes that exist inside of another class. We mostly use these for bundling together variables and maybe add a function or two. They can be a good alternative to dictionaries because they are sometimes a bit more safe to use. Say we have this character class here and we would like to add some equipment. We could create an inner class called equipment. So I'll write class equipment, and then we can give it a couple of variables. I'll create an armor variable, set it to 10 by default, and a weight of 5. Now we can use this class around our script.
Weight.
So we could create some variables using it. Set it to 10 by default, and a weight of 5. Now we can use this class around our script, so we could create some variables using it. I'll create a chest that is equal to equipment.new. Calling .new will create an instance of the equipment class. So now we have one piece of equipment, one instance, which is a chest. We'll also create legs, and again we'll call equipment.new. Then in the ready function, we can access these classes. So we can go into our chest and change the armor and set it equal to 20. We can then print chest.armor, or maybe print legs.weight. And this is also where you can see that this is sometimes safer than using a dictionary, because GDScript will recognize that there is a weight variable inside of the equipment class. And if we try to access something that isn't there, we'll get an error before playing the game. Not only when we reach this point in our code. This is called being type safe. And now if we run this, we can see that each of the instances of our character will print these two pieces of equipment. and the armor of the chest is 20, and the weight of the legs is 5. Inherited armor. This is variable and set it equal to 20. We can then print chest.armor, or maybe print legs.weight. And this is also where you can see that this is sometimes
Okay.
safer than using a dictionary, because GDScript will recognize that there is a weight variable inside of the equipment class. And if we try to access something that isn't there, we'll get an error before playing the game, not only when we reach this point in our code. This is called being type safe. And now if we run this, we can see that each of the instances of our character will print these 2 pieces of equipment. And the armor of the
That's cool that you can actually put the ready function inside the class and it will do it automatically for every instance of the class.
chest is 20, and you
Or
will create an
for every instance of the node. Okay, yeah, I think I've probably seen enough. Yeah, I need to stop. I need to stop experimenting here. I just need to actually work on my I just need to work on my my little mini project here. I can worry about this later. So, I do want to give the bar a one-way collision. And I am going to go into the editor here. What? And I want this to be a different. Rotation? Do I actually have to change this? Do I actually have to rotate this? This property has no effect if this collision shape 2D is a child of an area 2D node. Okay. Hmm. Main scene camera GD. What? Oh. Okay, I'm gonna go back to this here. Inner classes. Okay. Okay, you know, that's pretty good. Yeah, that should be pretty good. Let me look here.
Moves the node around. Composition. Now, even though Godot uses inheritance for its nodes, there are often better ways to structure your code. Godot actually leans itself really well to another way called composition. I'm not going to explain that here since there's already a really good video on the subject by a channel called Bitlytic, but I definitely recommend you check that out. Call down, signal up. When writing GDScript, there are, of course, many best practices that we can choose.
Okay, fair enough.
Did you know that
And you know what?
Whenever we press the action we made earlier.
I'll just worry about that later. I'm just gonna worry right now about just gonna worry about worrying about making this collision one way. Okay, you know what? Actually, I'm going to decide on one thing to do. Okay, whether that's one-way collision or not, it doesn't matter. But what I have to do first is actually decide on that thing. Am I even speaking coherently right now? Okay, so it's this here. So is there any way? No. Okay, so I do actually have to. Yeah, I do actually have to change the collision shape. So I will just do that right now. Okay. Yeah, I have decided that doing the one-way collision is what I want to do. So I need to rotate this 90 degrees. Actually, it doesn't really matter, does it? Doesn't really matter if I do it positive 90 or negative 90. So, you know, I will just do that. That's fine. Save. Let's hope this doesn't mess tons of things up. So this one is gonna have to be 90. Sorry, 180. Whoops. 180. No, it's not. Actually, it's gonna have to be. This one is correct. This one is gonna be 180. Alright, and let's hope that doesn't actually mess things up. Let's hope the controls actually work. They do. Oh, whoops. What is going on? Yeah, I know what's going on. Never mind. So what I don't want is something like, okay, that's not working at all, actually. Why is that not working? Oh, because, is it a layer thing? Process. Ordering. This is visibility, this is... Oh, no, it is this, I think, right? What? Light mask. I don't know what light mask is. Oh, okay. That's not what I want. Collision layer. Collision. Okay, this should be on the same collision layer. Okay, I'm gonna go back to this here. And work better for colliders that enter the shape at a high velocity. Ooh, okay, so that's 1 pixel. So what I want is actually less than this. I want it to be like 0.1, maybe? And then also I have to change the... yeah, actually, hold up. How to rotate one-way collision arrow in Godot. Oh, okay. So you can't. You actually can't do that. Okay, whoa. Can I find? I just clicked on something. Can I find it, please? Yeah, a lot of people are just saying rotate the shape. Rotate the collision shape, like I just did. Wait a second. Yeah, people are just saying to rotate the shape. Huh, that kind of sucks. That kind of sucks that you can't do it with the script. Okay, that's fine. Great, so I just have to change this to, what is it? X. Just gotta change this to, no, this one. Uh, this, is that it? No, it's this here. Okay. Yep, now it works again, so let me try, nope. This is still not pixel perfect for some reason. So weird. Okay, if I do this, I mean, I'm working on such small scales that, yeah, 0.05. Yeah, this is the smallest. This is the smallest it can go. Wow, I'm glad nothing else broke. Sheesh. Yep, turns out that doesn't work. Okay, good. So I can just change this back. Then I can just, change this back. Yeah, and then I can just change this back to 0. Okay, let's see. You know, I will work on that edge case. I'll just fix that edge case there. And also, I can just destroy this. I'll just, you know, I will do plus this and minus this. Then I will comment this out here. I will comment that out, and then I will, oh, no. And then I'll just, what does free do? What does free do, actually? Node is not deleted instantly, and it can still be accessed before deletion. It is also safe to call queue free multiple times. Use object.isQueued for deletion to check if the node will be deleted at the end of the frame. The node will only be freed after all other deferred calls are finished. Using this method is not always the same as calling object.free. Deletes the object from memory. Pre-existing references to the object become invalid, and any attempt to access them will result in a runtime error. So what is the... Why would I use free? Why would I ever use free then? Free versus queue free. It's not always safe to do so if we delete a node while other nodes may still be processing it. Queue free function will tell the engine delete this node as soon as it's safe to do so. You would use free whenever you need an you'd use free whenever you need to free an object that inherits from the object class that isn't also descendant of node or reference. You should use free on object classes as you have no choice. Basically, pretty much always use Q free. Nice. Okay. Okay. Q free, and then I'm probably gonna call a signal here. Probably emit. Probably gonna emit a signal here. That's what I meant. Um, yeah, and should I do game manager? Should I make a game manager? No, I'll probably just make a UI. So I don't need to actually code for this, take this edge case into account. I just need to take this edge case into account. And then, what is this? Oh, fudge. Oh, I can just do this. What am I doing? All right, let's see what happens now. What the f- Hmm. How do I make this code look decent? Yeah, I mean, this just is gonna look like crap, honest. Uh, Actually, that's minus. This is plus. Does it? Wait. So the reason it's going out is because oh wait, I actually don't need to do this. You know, I use it so often. Here's the thing. Like effectively, this is probably the same if I just do, yeah. Like if I just do, this, hmm. You know what? I will, I'm just gonna do a test here. Okay, that's... Uh, yeah, you know, that's fine. Is that good? Is that good enough for me? What happens if I just do... Actually, wait a second. Wait a second. Oops, forgot it was this. What? What? Do I actually have to do this? Hmm. So my real question is, how does this edge case ever happen? Like, how does this ever happen? I just trolled myself. Hmm. Interesting. global screen size dot y minus or position dot y. Okay, position dot y greater than or equal to greater than or equal to. Oh yeah, greater than or equal to, yes. Hmm. Yeah, so really, okay. Let me just make this like 100%. What? So the reason the edge case happens is because you can move the window around. And because of that, okay. I don't know why that happens. I mean, that fixed it, but yeah, you know, I will. Hmm. Maybe I can make it not look as ugly. Here. Nope. Um. Position dot y is greater than and global screen size dot y. And then position dot y equals global screen size dot y minus the thing. Else, what? That shouldn't happen. That shouldn't be happening. Hmm. What? Position dot Y. Hmm. Else. What? What? Position? Oh, I see. Never mind. So this little teeny margin of error is causing that bug to happen. That's cool, I guess. Okay, I can just do this. Or can I? Oh, actually, no, never mind. I do want to change this, so I'll just do... Someone is calling me. It is my brother. Okay, and I have my legs up. I love that. Okay, so I don't like that. I don't like when you do it like on the very edge. Or like you do one of these things, you do like slam into it. Also, is this bouncing off perfectly? Pretty much. Or does it just look weird because this isn't bouncing off the walls anymore? Like here's the thing, if I remove this, or if I comment this out here, what does it look like? Looks pretty much the same. Yeah, it looks the same. Oh, also greater than or equal to? Wait. Oh, yeah, I can. So, I need to do this. No, I need to do this. Hmm. Like, does this actually work? Wait, it sets it equal to. Wait, what? Okay, I'm just gonna do greater than. The less than here, and then. Let's see what happens now. I think it's gonna look better. I just hate this. I hate this. I don't want this to happen where I can like shove it up in there. But I guess I would need to make the bar bigger if I want one-way collision. That's fine. That's fine. You know what? It's completely fine. Because these are 2 pixels each. 2 pixels. wide, so I have to work with the limitations. Yeah, I think that looks good. If I remove this, and this, then I comment this, what happens? It's the same as, is it, wait, is it the same? Oh, this is plus. Oh. Wait a second. Does that look better? Yeah, that actually does look better. What the fudge? Nice. Okay, okay, less than or equal to, wait. Yeah. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Like, okay, I want to make this really clear. Let's just do that. Hmm. Okay, I need to stop doing this to my fingernails. like, does this... Which one looks better? Bro, what the f... Yeah, I don't like... I don't like that, but that's fine. Okay, that's good enough. That's good enough for this episode. Next episode, I will actually work on the project instead of just kind of like, trying to learn things that are irrelevant to it, that are irrelevant to it. Yeah, I'm just gonna finish this project and then I can read the documentation, okay? Finish the little Pong project, read the documentation. Okay. That is it for this episode. That should have been episode 42. And you will all see me tomorrow.